The winter of 2024-2025 arrived in Ontario with a force that took even seasoned residents by surprise. It wasn't just the early timing of the storm, but the sheer intensity that set it apart from anything the province had seen in years. As the first flakes began to fall, there was a sense of unease in the air, a feeling that this was no ordinary winter weather event. High above the region, a powerful weather system was taking shape. Arctic air, frigid and relentless, surged southward, colliding with a mass of milder, moisture-laden air hovering over the Great Lakes. This volatile meeting of air masses created the perfect conditions for a massive storm, one that meteorologists quickly realized could bring chaos to communities across Ontario. Meteorologists across the country sounded the alarm. Their models showed not only the potential for heavy snowfall, but also the likelihood of hurricane-force winds and true blizzard conditions. Warnings were issued on television, radio, and social media, urging people to prepare for a storm that could disrupt daily life for days, or even weeks. The Great Lakes, still holding on to the warmth of autumn, acted like a giant engine, feeding energy and moisture into the storm. As cold air swept across the open water, it picked up even more strength, causing the system to intensify rapidly. The skies darkened, and the wind began to howl, signaling that something extraordinary was unfolding. Environment Canada responded swiftly, issuing urgent weather warnings that stretched from the remote forests of the far north to the bustling cities of the south. Digital signs flashed alerts along highways, and emergency notifications buzzed on phones and billboards, making it clear that no part of the province would be spared from the storm's reach. In some areas, forecasts predicted up to 50 centimeters of snow, enough to bury cars, block roads, and isolate entire neighborhoods. Snowplows were readied, and residents began the familiar but daunting task of shoveling driveways and sidewalks, knowing that the worst was yet to come. Across Ontario, news outlets displayed ominous weather maps, their bright colors highlighting the areas most at risk. People rushed to grocery stores, stocking up on food, water, batteries, and other essentials. Shelves emptied quickly as families prepared to hunker down and wait out the storm, uncertain of how long it would last or how severe the impact would be. The storm was no longer a distant threat, it was now an unstoppable force, bearing down on millions of people. The first gusts of wind rattled windows, and the snow began to fall in earnest, quickly covering streets and sidewalks in a thick white blanket. As the blizzard descended, streets emptied and a tense silence settled over towns and cities. The only question that remained was just how severe the impact would be once the storm unleashed its full fury, and whether Ontario was truly prepared for what was to come. When the storm arrived, it matched, and in many places, even exceeded, the dire predictions that had been circulating for days. Meteorologists had warned of a once-in-a-generation blizzard, but few could have anticipated the sheer ferocity with which it struck. The first signs of trouble came as emergency alerts flashed across screens, urging residents to prepare for the worst. Northern communities were the first to feel the storm's wrath, quickly buried under blinding snow and howling winds that rattled windows and snapped tree branches. As the system barreled south, snowbelts like Barrie and Muskoka faced relentless, record-breaking snowfall. In just a few hours, entire neighborhoods disappeared beneath thick, swirling drifts. Some areas saw snow falling at astonishing rates, up to 7 centimeters per hour, quickly overwhelming snowplows and creating instant whiteouts that left drivers stranded and emergency crews scrambling. The Greater Toronto Area and the Golden Horseshoe were battered by fierce, unrelenting winds, turning city streets into icy wind tunnels and highways into treacherous, impassable hazards. Visibility dropped to near zero, making travel on major routes nearly impossible. Even seasoned commuters found themselves disoriented, headlights barely piercing the swirling snow. Schools closed their doors, businesses shuttered, and daily life ground to a halt across Ontario. The province's bustling cities and quiet towns alike fell silent, blanketed by the relentless storm. The storm was a great equalizer, forcing millions to shelter in place. Families gathered by windows, watching as the world outside vanished beneath a curtain of white, while neighborhoods became deserted, eerily quiet. Nature's power brought the province to a standstill. From the smallest rural hamlets to the heart of Toronto, the storm's reach was absolute, leaving no community untouched. And as the blizzard intensified, it became clear that the worst was still to come. For Ontario, this was only the beginning of a historic ordeal. Lake-effect snow squalls became the storm's most dangerous weapon. As frigid air swept over the Great Lakes, it picked up moisture, creating narrow but intense bands of snow. Communities east and southeast of Lake Huron and Georgian Bay were hammered for hours, buried under localized blizzards. One town could be buried under 30 centimeters while a nearby community saw only flurries. Drivers were caught off guard, plunging from clear skies into total whiteouts with no warning. These squalls caused multi-vehicle pileups and stranded travelers in deadly conditions. Some regions reported over 50 centimeters of snow, with drifts meters high. The relentless squalls turned a major storm into a historic disaster for Ontario's snow belt. The Great Lakes' influence was undeniable and devastating. Ontario's highways became a nightmare as snow and wind combined to create treacherous, icy roads. Whiteouts erased the horizon, leaving drivers disoriented and stranded. Major routes like Highway 400 and 401 saw multi-vehicle collisions and massive pileups. Police and tow trucks were overwhelmed, and thousands were left waiting in the cold. Authorities closed hundreds of kilometers of highways, urging everyone to stay off the roads. For many, travel became impossible. Hotels and community centers filled with stranded motorists. The storm's message was clear: stay put or risk your life. Ontario's lifelines were choked by snow and silence. The storm's heavy wet snow and fierce winds crippled Ontario's power grid. Tree branches snapped and power lines fell, plunging tens of thousands into darkness and cold. Outages struck both rural and urban areas, leaving families without heat as temperatures plummeted. Those with fireplaces or wood stoves became lifelines for neighbors. Cooking and warmth became challenges, with many relying on barbecues or camping stoves. In some places, power was restored quickly. In others, outages lasted for days. The silence of powerless homes was broken only by the storm's howl. The crisis revealed just how fragile modern comforts can be. Survival depended on preparation and community. As the storm raged, emergency responders and utility crews became Ontario's lifeline. Police, firefighters, and paramedics braved whiteouts and freezing temperatures to answer calls for help. Hydro workers toiled through the night, repairing downed lines in brutal conditions. Road crews fought a losing battle against relentless snow, working non-stop to keep emergency routes open. Coordination was key. Emergency centers directed efforts, and police escorted utility crews to critical sites. These workers risked their own safety to restore power and rescue those in need. Their dedication kept Ontario going through the storm's darkest hours. They were the unsung heroes of a province under siege. Officials issued urgent warnings: stay home, avoid travel, and prepare for outages. Environment Canada's alerts blanketed the province, detailing snowfall, wind, and timing. Residents were urged to assemble emergency kits with food, water, radios, and medications. Safety reminders included never using barbecues indoors and checking on vulnerable neighbors. The public largely heeded the advice, with schools and businesses closing preemptively. Clear, consistent messaging helped prevent accidents and ease the burden on emergency services. Timely information empowered Ontarians to make safe choices. Preparedness became the province's best defense. Amid the chaos, Ontario's community spirit shone. Neighbors cleared driveways for the elderly and shared warmth, food, and generators. Potluck dinners and candlelit gatherings brought people together during outages. Social media became a hub for offers of help and real-time updates. Children played in towering drifts while adults checked on one another. Acts of kindness multiplied, turning hardship into solidarity. The storm slowed life, but strengthened connections. Ontario's resilience was measured not just in endurance, but in compassion. This storm was historic for its timing, intensity, and sheer scale, catching many by surprise. It arrived when most people were still preparing for winter, not expecting such ferocity so early in the season. The storm's arrival upended daily life, forcing communities to adapt quickly to conditions that would challenge even the most seasoned residents. Such a powerful blizzard is rare in late November, more typical of deep winter. The landscape, still dotted with autumn leaves, was suddenly transformed into a frozen world. Many residents were caught off guard, with winter gear and snow removal equipment not yet fully in place. The system stalled over the region, battering Ontario for days and exhausting emergency resources. Snowplows worked around the clock, but roads remained treacherous, and emergency crews struggled to keep up with calls for help. Lake-effect squalls, fueled by the still warm waters of the Great Lakes, combined with hurricane-force winds to create utter chaos. Visibility dropped to near zero, and travel became nearly impossible. Some areas faced relentless blizzards, with snow falling so heavily that it seemed endless. Residents found themselves trapped indoors, unable to venture out for days. Others were buried by stationary snow bands that dumped incredible amounts of snow in just a few hours, creating drifts that swallowed cars and blocked doorways. And all endured damaging winds that bent trees, downed power lines, and made even the simplest tasks dangerous. The wind turned a heavy snowfall into a crippling event, causing whiteouts, massive drifts, and widespread power outages. Utility crews worked tirelessly, but many homes were left in the dark and cold for days. It was a perfect storm, Arctic air clashing with warm lake waters, all driven by a slow-moving system that refused to leave. This rare combination amplified the storm's impact, making it one for the record books. The event was a stark reminder of nature's power and the Great Lakes' unique influence on Ontario's weather. The landscape was reshaped and the community spirit was tested as neighbors came together to help one another. For those who lived through it, the storm set a new benchmark for winter in Ontario. Stories of survival, resilience, and neighborly support became part of the storm's legacy. Its legacy will be remembered for years to come, not just for the records it broke, but for the way it brought communities together in the face of adversity.